And what are the other fucking things here? So I somehow unlocked a random ass one. What are the other ones?
Well, that's no better a solution than any of the others, is it? So, in the end, have we learned anything from this look at why the world turned out the way it did that's of any use to us in our future? Something, I think. That the key to why things change is the key to everything. How easy is it for knowledge to spread? And that in the past, the people who made change happen were the people who had that knowledge, whether they were craftsmen or kings. Today, the people who make things change, the people who have that knowledge, are the scientists and the technologists who are the true driving force of humanity. And before you say, what about the Beethovens and the Michelangelos? Let me suggest something with which you may disagree violently. That at best, the products of human emotion, art, philosophy, politics, music, literature, are interpretations of the world that tell you more about the guy who's talking than about the world he's talking about. Second-hand views of the world, made third-hand by your interpretation of them. Things like that, as opposed to this. Know what it is? It's a bunch of amino acids, the stuff that goes to build up a worm or a geranium or you. This stuff's easier to take, isn't it? Understandable. Got people in it. This, scientific knowledge, is hard to take because it removes the reassuring crutches of opinion, ideology, and leaves only what is demonstrably true about the world. And the reason why so many people may be thinking about throwing away those crutches is because, thanks to science and technology, they have begun to know that they don't know.
By the way, I
so
looked this up
much,
because it was really
and that if they are
bothering
to
me
have
that I only
more
found
say in what happens to their
one,
lives,
and it was the
more
middle
freedom
one.
to develop their abilities to the full, they
And I
have
thought
to
they
be
all
helped
played
towards that
in
knowledge
sequence,
they know
so.
exists and that they don't possess. And by help towards that knowledge, I don't mean give everybody a computer and say, help yourself. Where would you even start? No, I mean trying to find ways to translate the knowledge, to teach us to ask the right questions. See, we're on the edge of a revolution in communications technology that is going to make that more possible than ever before. Or, if that's not done, to cause an explosion of knowledge that will leave those of us who don't have access to it as powerless as if we were deaf, dumb, and blind. And I don't think most people want that. So what do we do about it? I don't know. But maybe a good start would be to recognize within yourself the ability to understand anything, because that ability is there, as long as it's explained clearly enough. And then go and ask for explanation.
So I wonder what this video was about here.
And if you're thinking right now, what do I ask for? Ask yourself if there's anything in your life that you want changed. That's where to start.
And so, by a backhanded, upside-down argument, was predicted that there is in carbon a level at 7.82 million volts. And then experiments in the laboratory with carbon show indeed that there is. And therefore, the existence in the world of all these other elements is very closely related to the fact that there is this particular
It's
level
weird
in carbon.
because
But the
that
position
third
of this
video
particular
has
level in
no
carbon seems to us, after knowing the physical laws, to be
no
a very
talking,
complicated
like, no
accident of
commentary at
12
all.
complicated particles interacting.
And then these
So I wish
just,
to
these
illustrate
just talk
by
the
this
whole damn
example
time.
that an understanding of the physical laws doesn't give you an understanding in a sense of understanding significance of the world in any way. The details of real experience are very far often from the fundamental laws. There are, in a way of speaking in the world, we have a way of discussing the world which you could call, we discuss it at various hierarchies or levels. Now, I don't mean to
okay,
be
do these
very
have any
precise.
relevance to
There's
anything,
another
though?
level, another level,
'Cause-
another level. But I will indicate by describing a set of ideas to you,
fuck.
one after the other, what I mean by hierarchy of ideas. For example, at one end, we have the
I don't
fundamental
know.
laws of physics.
I really don't know.
Then we invent other terms
This whole
for
game
concepts
just...
which are approximate, who have,
been fucking
we
me up.
believe,
It's
the
weird.
ultimate explanation in terms of the fundamental laws. For instance,
Like the
heat.
puzzles, when you complete the
Heat is
puzzles,
supposed to be
don't
the
really
jiggling,
give
and
you
it's just a word
anything.
for a hot thing is just a word for a mass
Just
of
kind
atoms
of
which are
progresses
jiggling.
you
For all
through
that,
another
fundamentally, we
puzzle,
can think of
and then
the
you
atoms
complete
jiggling.
that, and then you go to another
For a
one.
while, if we're talking about heat, we sometimes forget about the atoms jiggling. Just like when we talk about the glacier, we don't always think of the hexagonal ice snowflakes which originally fell. Another example of the same thing is a salt crystal. Looked at fundamentally, it's a lot of protons, neutrons, and electrons. But we have this concept, salt crystal, which carries a whole pattern already of fundamental interactions, or idea like pressure. Now, if we go higher up from this, in another level, we have properties of substances like refractive index, how light is bent when it goes through something, or surface tension, the fact that the water
This is like all shit I learned in
is
like high
described by a
school
number.
science
I'll
class.
remind you that we have to go through several laws down to find
Feels
out
like I'm
that it's
sitting in
full of the
chemistry
atoms
class
and all,
right now.
but we still say surface tension, and don't
This is
worry when
literally
we
how
discuss
boring my
surface
fucking
tension of
teacher
the
was,
inner
too. He
working
was-
always. Sometimes we do, sometimes we
I don't know,
Go
is it
on,
boring?
up in the hierarchy. With the water, we have the waves, and we have a thing like a storm. We have a word for storm, which represents an enormous
Like
mass
there's
of
a
phenomena.
storm.
Or sunspot, or star, which is an accumulation of things. And it's not worthwhile always to think of it way back. In fact, we can't, because the higher up we go, we have too many steps in between, each one of which is a little weak, and we haven't thought them all through yet. And we go up in this hierarchy of complexity, we get to things like frog, or nerve impulse, which you see is an enormously complicated thing in the physical world, involving an organization of matter in a very elaborate complexity. And then we go on, we come to things, words, and concepts like man, and history, or political expediency, and so forth, which is a series of concepts that we use to understand things at an ever higher level. And going on, we come to things like evil.
Man, these are long
and
videos, though. I
beauty
swear to God,
and
this one was
hope.
shorter than them two. And
Now, which
see how
end
fucking long
is
it is.
nearer to the ultimate creator or the ultimate. So I make a religious metaphor. Which end is nearer to God?
Like, is there a point to this? Or am I just watching
Beauty
this
and
for
hope,
nothing?
or the fundamental laws?
What the hell?
I think that the right way, of course, is to say that the whole structural interconnections of the thing is the thing that we have to look at, and that the sequence of hierarchy, that all the sciences and all the efforts, not just the sciences, but all the efforts of intellectual kind, are to see.
Okay, after this,
the
I'm probably
connections of
gonna
the
leave
hierarchies,
because
is to
this is
connect
just
beauty to
fucking
history,
boring.
is to connect history to man's psychology. The man's psychology
I have
to
to
the
figure out
working
these
of the brain,
last
the brain
three.
to the neural impulse to the chemistry, and so forth, up and
Or I
down.
can just
both
look it up
ways.
again and see the
today we
fucking
cannot, and there's no use
series
making
of
believe we
videos that are
can.
about to happen.
Draw carefully a line all the way from one end of this thing to the other. In fact, we've just begun to see that there is this.
Because honestly, how the hell are you supposed to
relative
find these
hierarchy.
out randomly
And so I
in
don't
these
think
fucking
either end is
sequences
nearer
here
to
when it doesn't even
God.
give you any clue
And it's to stand
or
at either
anything
end
at all?
and to walk
to figure them out.
off the end of the pier only, hoping
I don't
out in
know.
that direction is the complete understanding, is a mistake. And to stand with evil and beauty and hope, or to stand with the fundamental laws, hoping that way to get a deep understanding of the whole world, with that aspect alone, is a mistake. And it is not sensible either for the ones who specialize at one end and the ones who specialize at the other end to have such disregard for each other. They don't actually, but the people say they do. So. But that actually the great mass of workers in between, connecting one step to another, are improving all the time.
What the meaning of the universe is and so on, then I think you could easily become disillusioned and then look for some mystic answer to these problems. How a scientist can take a mystic answer, I don't know, because the whole spirit is to understand. Well, never mind that. I don't understand that. But anyhow, if you think of it, though, the way I think of what we're doing is we're exploring. We're trying to find out as much as we can about the world. People say to me, "Are you looking for the ultimate laws of physics?" No, I'm not. I'm just looking to find out more about the world. And if it turns out there is a simple ultimate law that explains everything, so be it. That would be very nice to discover. If it turns out it's like an onion with millions of layers and we're just sick and tired of looking at the layers, then that's the way it is. But whatever way it comes out, its nature is there and she's going to come out the way she is. And therefore, when we go to investigate it, we shouldn't pre-decide what it is we're trying to do except to find out more about it. If you say, but your problem is, why do you find out more about it? If you thought that you were trying to find out more about it because you're going to get an answer to some deep philosophical question, you may be wrong. It may be that you can't get an answer to that particular question.
Holy shit, okay. We're gonna find the other videos.
But I don't look at it. My
This
my
is
interest as
taking
scientist is
so
to find out about the world.
long.
And the more I find out, the better it is. I like to find out. There are very remarkable mysteries about the fact that we're able to do so many more things than apparently animals can do, and other questions like that. But those are mysteries I want to investigate without knowing the answer to them. And so altogether, I can't believe the special stories that have been made up about our relationship to the universe at large, because they seem to be
Video number 4. Okay, we're gonna see what this is for a minute. Only for a minute. Wait, hold on.
How many of you here have personally witnessed a total eclipse of the sun?
Me?
To stand one day in the shadow of the moon is one of my humble goals in life.
Really,
The
it's kinda
closest I
not
ever
one of
came
mine.
was over 30 years ago. On February 26th, 1979,
It's not really
a solar
special.
eclipse passed directly over the city of Portland. I bought my bus tickets and found a place to stay, but in the end, I couldn't get the time off work.
You're
Well,
gonna tell 'em
anyone
work
who
and
lives
fucking
in
leave.
Portland can tell you that the chances
More
of catching
important
the
shit to be
sun in
looking at.
February are pretty slim. And sure enough, the skies over the city that day were completely overcast. I wouldn't have seen a thing. That work I couldn't get out of was my first job out of college. A sales clerk at an old Radio Shack store in beautiful downtown Worcester, Massachusetts.
Worcester?
On my
That's how
very
you
first
say that
day
word?
behind the counter, a delivery truck pulled up to the
What?
front of the store. They carried in a big carton, upon which was printed the legend TRS-80. It was our floor sample of the world's first mass-market microcomputer. The TRS-80 Model 1 had a Z80 processor clocked at 1.7 MHz, 4,096 bytes of memory, and a 64-character black and white text display. The
Wow.
only storage was a cassette recorder. All this could be yours for
Holy
the low
shit.
price of $599.
Back then, shit was
The
ridiculous.
store I was working in had seen better days. At
Now,
one time,
$5.99,
it
you
had
get
been near
one
the center
fucking
of a
graphics card.
thriving commercial district.
Or one
But
CPU,
like so many
depending on
other
what you
New
buy.
England cities, the advent of shopping malls had, by the early 70s, turned it into a ghost town. Worcester's solution to this problem was decisive, to say the least. The city's elders apparently decided that if they couldn't beat them, they would join them. And so, several square blocks at the heart of the city were bulldozed into oblivion, destroying dozens of family businesses, including the site of a pharmacy once operated by my great-grandfather. In their place was
Okay, is
erected
this just
a
like a
vast
video of
three-level
just
shopping
straight up a
complex
white dot on a
with
black
cinemas
background?
and a food court. When the dust settled, only a few forlorn
Oh
blocks
my
of
god,
Old
look how
Worcester
long this
remained
video
standing.
is.
I was young and foolish. I thought my education
This
in
thing
video
is
games was
slowly
happening at the
moving.
keyboard.
And okay, hold
I
on.
almost missed the lesson coming through the front door. Fortunately, I wasn't the only person fooling around with games on micros. All over the country, people like me were experimenting. Scott Adams was coding what would soon become the world's first commercial adventure game.
What is that?
Remember adventure games?
What game was that?
My future employer, Infocom, was being founded, along with other legendary companies like Online Systems, Sirius, Personal
What?
Software, and SSI. Those were exciting
Is
times.
this like real?
Teenagers were making
Or is this just like a
fortunes.
made up fucking story?
Games were cheap and easy to build. The slate was clean. But in 1979, the biggest news in gaming had nothing to do with computers. On the morning of the autumn equinox, September 20th, a new children's picture book appeared in the stores of Great Britain. This picture book was rather peculiar. It consisted of 15 meticulously detailed color paintings, illustrating a slight whimsical tale
Seems like
about
them are
a
the only
rabbit
speakers that are
delivering
working.
a
These don't.
jewel to the moon.
These aren't working.
On the back jacket of the book was a color photograph of a real jewel,
Okay.
shaped like a running rabbit, 5 inches long, fashioned of 18-karat gold, suspended with ornaments and bells, together with a sun and moon of blue quartz. According to the blurb underneath, this very jewel had been buried somewhere in England. Clues pointing to its location were concealed in the text and in the pictures of the book. The treasure would belong to whoever found it first. The book was called Masquerade. It was created by an eccentric little man with divergent eyes and a talent for mischief named Kit Williams. Within days, the first printing was sold out, and the empire that never sleeps found itself in the grip of rabbit fever. Excited readers attacked the paintings with rulers, compasses, and protractors. Magazine articles and TV specials
attack me with a
dissected the clues,
protractor, I'm gonna
floated
stab you.
theories, and followed with keen delight
Fuck, if I'm
the
thinking of the
reckless
right
exploits
protractor,
of the fanatics.
them motherfuckers are
One
sharp.
obscure park,
They're more like a knife.
unfortunately known by the nickname
Like a
Rabbit
dart.
Hill,
Like the end of a dart.
was so riddled with holes excavated
You
by
come at me with a
misguided
fucking
treasure
protractor,
seekers
I might just
that
have
the
to slap you.
authorities had to erect signs assuring the public that no gold rabbits were to be found there. Some hunters ended up seeking psychological counseling for their obsession. The craze
I just
leapt
noticed
over
there's
the
leaves
Atlantic
on the
Ocean
ground.
and invaded America, France, Italy, and Germany.
Very observant.
It sold over 1 million copies in a few months, a record unrivaled by any children's title until the advent of Harry Potter. Over 150,000 copies were sold in foreign translations, including 80,000 copies in Japanese, despite the fact that the puzzle was only solvable in English. It didn't matter that the Masquerade Jewel was only worth a few $1,000s. Many seekers spent far more than that in their months of exploration and travel. It was the thrill of the chase, the possibility of being the one. Treasure hunts, secret messages, and hidden things seem to exert an irresistible appeal. They're fun to look for and to talk about, and this fact of human psychology has been exploited in computer games since the earliest days.
Okay, how much of this damn video is
It
left?
finds expression in the hidden surprises
I can't.
we call
Oh.
Easter eggs.
Holy shit.
Atari's
That is
Stephen
way too
Wright
long.
is credited
Way
with
too
coining
fucking
this
long.
term in
What's the next
first
one?
issue of Electronic Games
That thing kind of
magazine.
looks like a dick.
The first
like an
Easter egg
upside
in
down.
a commercial computer game.
Okay, this
appeared
is weird.
in
That
an
looks
early
like an
Atari
upside down cross.
2600 cartridge called,
That ain't
simply
good.
enough, Adventure. By a sequence of unlikely movements and obscure manipulations, players could discover a secret room
I
where the words
think that's what it
created
is.
by Warren Rupp.
Yep. Whoa. Hello. Nice plants. I feel like them are just for looking at them. Nice plants. Never seen them before in my life. Why is this just quiet? That's just weird. What is this?
Know yourself as the open, empty, luminous presence of awareness.
What? Why was this so fucking quiet for so long? And why are you quiet now?
Open
Oh my god, it's weird.
because you say yes unconditionally and indiscriminately to all appearances of the mind, body, and world. Like empty space. You have no mechanism
I wonder just how
inherent
awkward
within
this
you.
recording would be.
that can resist
Like being this guy.
any appearance.
Like, what is your topic?
We don't have to make this the case, it is already the case. Empty. Because
Wait, how many are left? Is it just one?
although
Yes, okay.
you, I,
Just one more.
this aware presence,
This is fucking, like, I don't know, dragging
is aware
ass.
of thoughts, sensations, and perceptions, it is not made out of a thought, a sensation, or a perception. It is made out of pure knowing or awareness.
You know, that long ass wave makes me feel weird. I don't know, it's I know this game doesn't have enemies, but I feel like fucking, like, just the games I play as a child.
Luminous,
Enemies are just waiting down there.
because
Waiting.
just like the sun, relatively speaking, that renders all objects seeable, so you, I, this open, empty presence, renders all experience knowable. In fact, we don't really see objects, relatively speaking, illumined
Man,
by
I
the
really
sun. We
wonder
just
what
see
these videos have to
reflections
do
or
with the game.
modulations of the sun's light. appearing as a multiplicity and diversity of color. In the same way, we don't really know the objects of the mind, body, and the world. We just know our knowing of them.
Okay, I'm about to go
All
to
we
video
know,
number
All that
3.
is known is the knowing of experience. Are that knowing.
Okay. We're gonna have to go to this next video. This next video.
All that is ever known
Start off here.
is a modulation
Make it all the way down.
of our own
Whoa.
knowing presence, modulating itself
Nope.
in the,
Right here.
in the form of thinking,
What's this
sensing,
video?
and perceiving,
Get me in there.
and
Thank
seeming
you.
to become a mind, a body, and a world.
That is it. What are you talking about?
But we never actually know a mind, a body, and a world
No, it's
as
not.
they are normally conceived. We just know our knowing.
Aha. There we go. Whoa,
So
what
it's
is on your
absolutely
face?
simple.
Oh, that's a microphone. I feel
What
fucking
I
stupid
have to
now.
say to you. It's what my teacher said to me. And I'm still deeply discovering the reverberation of that.
The reverberation.
And it's simply stop looking for what you want. Not cynically stop looking for what you want. Because there's a way of stopping looking for what you want in resignation and cynicism and closing down. But innocently,
You know,
openly,
this video
stop
makes it
looking
feel like
for what
she's
you
just
want
whispering
in this
into my
moment.
ear. And it
Not
really makes me
tomorrow when you
uncomfortable.
have it,
Because I hear her mouth open every single time.
but in this moment.
Hold on a second. Oh, this is all just her talking.
How much of that is here?
Oh my god, okay. I'm gonna try and figure out this fucking puzzle now. I seriously could not figure out to save my fucking life. Whoa, that's weird. How the fuck is that doing that?
Any questions about what I just said?
So does that like actually show the reflection or show me straight through? Man, that's so weird how it's doing that. And did I literally get that to work on the first fucking try?
The way you imagine.
Because I tried multiple times to get this son of a bitch and it would not fucking work.
And it's that imagination itself that keeps you from discovering that you already are everything. So you just take this evening as an experiment to give up any imagination, any image of what you
So what does that do?
to be totally fulfilled. Just give it up. It's just an image, just a thought. Maybe a spiritual thought, maybe a worldly thought.
Okay, now these puzzles are something else.
And directly discover what's here, unthought, unimagined. How's that? Good. Good.
Okay. Now, what kind of fucking... What do you even do here? Do you just touch all the corners? Wait. No. No, that ain't gonna work. Fuck.